Yes, good morning, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So in the last class, we were discussing about the sum of independent random variable. So here next we'll take up the sum of independent and identically distributed random variable. So which is represented as sum of IID random variable. So IID stands for independent and identically distributed random variables. So here it is different from the sum of two independent random variable. So in the case of two sum of two independent random variable, so here the PDF of each random variable, it may be different, but when we consider the independent and identically distributed random variable case, so here the whatever the variables that we are going to consider, so they will be associated with the same PDF. So here such random variable, they said to be IID random variable. So here we are going to discuss such kind of sum of IID random variable. So here, as I told, so in this method, each random variable in the sum, it is going to be related to the same PDF. So here the PDF associated with each random variable xi, it can be represented as fx of x. And this case, as I told, it is considered as the independent and identically distributed random variable. So whenever you'll be given the problem, so then you should carefully go with whether it is simply the sum of two independent random variable or sum of independent and identically independent in distributed random variable. Correct ಆಗಿ difference ತಗೊಂಡು, so you need to get the solution for the given problem. Okay. So here we are going to consider such random variable. As I told, suppose if you have xi number of independent random variable, so in such case, so here we can assume that just W as summation I is equal to 1 to n xi. So here, as I told, here we'll be having n number of independent random variable designated as x. And here for such random variable, so here we can write expectation of xi is equal to expectation of x. So here the expectation of x is nothing but the mean of the random variable x, so which is equal to mu x. As I told, so here each of the random variable, they are associated with the same PDF. The PDF is not going to be different. So for that reason, here we can write the expectation of each and every random variable as simply the expectation of a random variable x, which is designated as mu x. Similarly, we can also write the variance of the random variables xi as variance of the random variable x, which is designated as sigma x square. And now, suppose if we consider expectation of xi and xj, and in this case, suppose if I and j both are equal, then we can simply write this expectation of xi xj as expectation of xi square, which is equal to expectation of x square. So here expectation of square of the random variable, as we have already derived, so it is equal to the sum of the square of the mean as well as the variance, that is mu x square plus sigma x square. And also here expectation of xi into expectation of xi, so that is nothing but mu x into mu x. As we have seen here, expectation of xi, it is simply equal to mu x. So here if you substitute that, so here it will be resulting in the value mu x square. And now we can consider the case where n takes the value 2. So here n takes the value 2 in a sense. So here we'll be considering two possible observations, so which is designated as x1 and x2. So here when you add such two independent random variables, so here the new outcome, it can be designated as w2 is equal to x1 plus x2. So for this random variable w2, so we need to find the mean as well as the variance. So here, as we know, the mean, it can be calculated by taking the expectation on both sides. So here expectation of W2, so it will be equal to expectation of x1 plus x2. So here by applying the linear property, here it can be written as expectation of x1 plus expectation of x2. But as I told here, each and every random variable, they are associated with the same PDF. So here expectation of x1 is equal to expectation of x2, which is equal to mu x. So here when you add this mu x, so it is simply equal to 2 mu x. So here we can write expectation of W2 is equal to 2 mu x. So similarly variance of W2, so it will be equal to 2 sigma x square. And now you can increase the number of variables to the value 3. That is when you consider n is equal to 3. So here then we can write the new observation W3 as x1 plus x2 plus x3. But here already as we have seen, x1 plus x2 is nothing but W2. So here you can observe. So here x1 plus x2 is a W2. So here we can write W3 as W2 plus x3. So here W2 for this we have calculated the mean as well as the variance. So here using that, so here we can also get the mean of the W3 as well as the variance. So here we can write the expectation of the new possible observation W3 as 2 mu x plus expectation of x3. So expectation of x3 is also mu x. So here by substituting that, so it will be resulting in the value 3 mu x. Similarly, the variance of W3 is equal to 3 sigma x square. So here like that you can increase the value of n, that is you can go on increasing the number of independent variables. So in general we can write that, so the W, it will be equal, it will be written as Wn minus 1 plus xn. So here as you have observed, so here W3 is equal to W2 plus x3, right? So when you go for writing W4, so W4 it will be equal to W3 plus x4. So like that if you continue on writing for nth observation or for nth random variable, so here we can write in general W as Wn minus 1 plus xn, which implies that the mean of the variable W as mu W is equal to n mu x and variance sigma W square is equal to n sigma x square. So you need to remember, so whenever you'll be given the problem on sum of IID random variables, so you need to remember these equations. So in general, whatever the equations that we have derived, so that you need to remember. And whatever the equations that we can see here, W is equal to W2 plus x3 and W is equal to Wn minus 1 plus xn. So whatever the equations that we are going to see here, so they are nothing but the result of the two convolution. So here they will be convolving with the same signal itself. So you suppose if you consider the random variable x, so here the random variable x is going to be convolved with the same random variable x itself. So that you need to remember. This is one of these special feature of sum of IID random variable. So here the last equation, it shows the result of n minus 1th convolution. And when we consider the characteristic function for such case, so here we can write the characteristic function as phi w of j omega as phi x to the power n j omega. So the equation remains same. So depending on the type of the variable that is given, so for the corresponding random variable, we will be having the characteristic function. So that is given in the appendix. So if you go on looking at the appendix, so here in the appendix you can see that, so here for different variables, the characteristic is given, right? So for Bernoulli, phi x of jw is q plus p e j omega. For binomial, phi x of j omega is equal to q plus p e to the power j omega n, and so on. So for each and every different kind of random variable, the characteristic function is given. So here depending on the type of the random variable, so here we can write for the sum of independent and identically distributed random variable as phi x to the power n j omega. So here for nth random variable, so for n is equal to 2. So for n is equal to 2, you can write the corresponding characteristic equation. So suppose if you come to the calculation of characteristic function, in the case of sum of IID random variables, we'll see how to calculate that. And with this, we'll next take on one example. So here we can consider the exponential random variable. So here from the appendix A, so here if you go to the appendix A, so here from this appendix A, whatever the PDF is there, PDF, just a minute, I'll just show it. PDF, and mean, variance, and the characteristic function are there. So from this appendix A, so here we can copy the whatever the parameters that we have for this exponential random variable. So here the PDF for the exponential random variable, it is given as lambda e to the power minus lambda x for x greater than or equal to 0, and it takes the value 0 for x less than 0. And the corresponding mean and variance are given as 1 by lambda and 1 by lambda square, and the characteristic function is lambda by lambda minus j omega, or it can also be written as lambda into lambda minus j omega to the power minus 1. So here having this parameters for the single random variable, single exponential random variable. So here we can, in the previous example, we have also derived, we have showed that the sum of two identical independent exponential random variable, so it led to the Erlang random variable of the order 2. So we have solved this problem in the last class. I'll just show it once again. Whatever this equation you are going to see. So this is the mean and variance that we have calculated. So here you can see that in the last class we have taken up the exponential random variable, and we have shown that suppose if you are going to add two random exponential random variable, so here this was the result that is been obtained. PDF it was obtained as lambda square w e to the power minus lambda w for w greater than or equal to 0, and it takes the value 0 for w less than 0. So here this has been derived in the previous class. So having this, so it is been we can state that, so whenever we'll be adding the sum of whenever we'll be adding the two identical independent exponential random variables, so here it will be leading to the Erlang random variable of order 2. So here we can write fw2 of w is equal to lambda square w e to the power minus lambda w for w greater than or equal to 0, and it will take the value 0 for w less than 0. And similarly, so we can also write the PDF for the variable W3. So here W3 is nothing but the convolution of fx of x with fw2 of w. So whatever the PDF function that we have obtained here, we have derived. So this can be convolved with the fx of x that is being taken. So whenever you'll be convolving, so here we'll be getting the new PDF for the random variable W3. As I told, so independent and identically distributed random variable in the sense, so we are going to add the, or we are going to convolute the same signal itself. So here whenever we do that, so here it will be resulting in the new value. So here you can see the calculation for that. So here the PDF of the random variable W3, it can be defined as fw3 of w is equal to integration. So here lambda square u into e to the power minus lambda u. So here you can see, here we have lambda square w e to the power minus lambda w. So here instead of w, so just we are changing the notation for convenience, because here also we are using the w. So whenever you will be convolving, so it will be giving the new value. So for in order to differentiate that, so here we are just changing the notation. So here within the integral lambda, we are writing lambda square u e to the power minus lambda u into lambda e to the power minus lambda x. So where x is been replaced as w minus u. So now integrating this and simplifying step by step. So here you can see, so here e to the power minus lambda u and e to the power plus lambda u, it will be resulting in the value e to the power 0, which is equal to 1. And then taking e to the power minus lambda w and lambda cube outside the integral, and integrating u with respect to u with the integral range 0 to w. So it is resulting in the new PDF lambda cube e to the power minus lambda w into w square by 2. So here we can write the PDF for the w3 variable, so which is the convolution of the fx of x and the fw2 of w. It is obtained as lambda cube omega square by 2 e to the power minus lambda w for w greater than or equal to 0, and for other values of w it will take the value 0. So in general, if you go on continuing, so yes, if you consider the next variable w4, so w4 it is nothing but the convolution of fw3 of w and fx of x. So it will be just continuing. So here for that reason, in general, we can write the PDF for the sum of n IID exponential random variables as fw of w is equal to lambda to the power n w n minus 1 e to the power minus lambda w divided by n minus 1 factorial for w greater than or equal to 0, and for w less than 0 it will take the value 0. So here you can show that whenever you will be adding the exponential random variable, so here it will be resulting in whatever the equation that you are going to get. So this is nothing but a PDF of the Erlang random variable of the order n, so that you can observe here. So here you can see the equation of the Erlang. So here for Erlang, so it is been lambda to the power k x to the power k minus 1 e to the power minus lambda x by k minus 1 factorial for x greater than or equal to 0. So the same equation, so it is being given here. So in terms of n random variables. So here whenever it shows that whenever you will be adding the exponential random variables which are independent and identically distributed, so here the sum of such random variable, it will be resulting in the Erlang random variable of order n. So here in the exam you may get the question like, so here show that the sum of the exponential random variables, a sum of IID exponential random variable, it will be resulting in the Erlang random variable. So suppose if you get this question like that, so then in that case you need to go with this type of this derivation. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೇನಾದರೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋನೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ನ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೊ Erlang PDF ಅನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈ ಡಿರೈವೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ here for the nth order Erlang random variable, so your mean is given as n by lambda and sigma w square is given by n by lambda square, because so here we have derived the equation for mean and variance for the exponential random variable. So in that case, we have obtained the mean as 2 by lambda and variance as 2 by lambda square. So that was for the order n is equal to 2. Similarly, for n is equal to 3, it will be like 3 by lambda and 3 by lambda square. So here for the nth order, so here simply we can write the mean as n by lambda and variance as n by lambda square. And similarly, the characteristic function, it is given as lambda to the power n divided by lambda minus j the omega to the power n. So this is one derivation. This is one problem with respect to the sum of IID, the independent variables. And next, let us consider one more example on the Bernoulli counting random variable. So for Bernoulli counting random variable, it entirely depends on the binomial distribution. So here for this Bernoulli random variable in the module 1 itself, we have seen the equation of the PDF. So here for Bernoulli counting random variable, the PDF is defined as fx of x is equal to q delta of x plus p delta of x minus 1. So always remember, whenever we say PDF, so it will be expressed in terms of the delta, unit delta function, and whenever we say the CDF, so write in terms of the unit step function. And for such Bernoulli counting random variable with this PDF, so we have also shown the mean as P and variance as PQ. And the characteristic function is given as Q plus P e to the power j omega. So now, having this, so here we can also develop the binomial counting random variable as the result of sum of n independent observations of the Bernoulli counting random variable. So here we are going to add n number of Bernoulli counting random variable, so which is defined by the equation y is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n xi. So here this equation, as I told, it will be developing the binomial counting random variable as a result of sum of n independent observation. So for such observation, the mean of this random variable y, so it can be given as np, and sigma y square is npq, and the characteristic function is q plus p e to the power j omega all to the power n. So here for nth order, you need to remember how to write the equations for mean, variance, and the characteristic function. And the next topic is central limit theorem. Any doubt up to this? All this is just the theory part. So you need to practice the equation derivations of all the topics. Any doubts up to this? Okay, we'll continue with the next topic, central limit theorem. So here, actually, we have so many central limit theorem that exist in the literature survey. But literature survey in the sense, so many studies have been done, and many types of central limit theorem has been derived. So, but here, when we come to the probability theory and the engineering applications, so here we need to consider the application of central limit theorem only to the sum of the independent random variable. And here the applications can be varying from averaging up to the build up, that is the sum in the manufacturing process. And so here whatever the central limit theorem we have, so here this central limit theorem, using this we can show that whenever n becomes arbitrarily large, that is whenever the number of random variable or number of observations becomes large, so in that case the pdf for the sum w, it will be approaching the Gaussian pdf. And correspondingly we can also look at the values of mean and variance for the approximate Gaussian random variable w. So here actually the derivation for the central limit theorem, it is given in the appendix G. So here you can go with the derivation. So in the exam also they may ask to derive the central limit theorem. So here it may not be the direct. So sometimes they will be asking the question, direct question like state and prove central limit theorem. So indirect question it may be like, so here show that the sum of the um, whenever n is arbitrarily large, in that case the sum of the variable w, it will be approaching the Gaussian PDF. So here, whenever you will be asking the question like this, so it means that you need to prove the central limit theorem. So it is given in the appendix G. So I'll just show this. So here they have given the central limit theorem. So here you can see that they have demonstrated a condition where the sum of independent and identical distributed random variable, it will become a Gaussian random variable. So for that, 2 pages derivation is there. You just go with this, and anyhow, I hope the appendixes will be given. So, but make sure that you are going to learn this derivation. So take this as an assignment. So we have to submit the assignment once the offline class will start. And here, based on the central limit theorem itself, so here we are going to consider one example. So here we can consider the PDF. Yes, we can consider the PDF of Erlang random variable, which is defined by fw of w is equal to lambda to the power n, w to the power n minus 1, e to the power minus lambda w divided by n minus 1 factorial for w greater than or equal to 0. And for other values of w, it will take the value 0. So here, this Erlang random variable, it is formed from a sum of n independent random variable with the rate constant lambda greater than 0. And here, according to the central limit theorem, so an Erlang PDF of order 25 and lambda is equal to 1. So it also looks like a Gaussian PDF. So here we can assume n is equal to 25 and lambda is equal to 1. So in that case, whatever the equation we have, fw of w, suppose if you substitute n is equal to 25 and the lambda is equal to 1. So in that case, this PDF, it reduces to the equation fw of w is equal to 1 to the power 25, w to the power 25 minus 1 divided by 25 minus 1 factorial e to the power minus lambda. That is equal to w to the power 24 e to the power minus lambda divided by 24 factorial for w greater than or equal to 0, and it is 0 for w less than 0. And corresponding mean and variance. So here mean is defined as n by lambda. You need to remember for the long random variable we have shown this, and variance is n by lambda square. So substitute the corresponding values. So here it will be resulting in the value 25, 25. And here whenever you will be plotting this Erlang PDF for values of y, so within the interval mu w plus or minus 2 sigma w. So here we have taken mu x minus 2 sigma x and mu x plus 2 sigma x. So here having the mean value we have calculated mu x ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, mu w ಬಂದಿದೆ, sigma w square ಬಂದಿದೆ. So here mu w square root mu w is 25 and sigma w square is 25. So here since we are plotting the PDF for mu w plus or minus 2 sigma w, so here just consider the value of sigma w. So sigma w it will be equal to 5. So here having that, so if you substitute and make the calculation, it will take the range like 15 to 35 and mu x is 25. So here whenever you'll be plotting the Erlang PDF for the given example, for the taken example, so you'll be getting the plot like this. So which approximately looks like a Gaussian PDF. And here the second line, whatever I'm showing here, so this shows the actual Gaussian PDF. So here we can observe that both Erlang PDF as well as the Gaussian PDF, they are approximately same with the noticeable change in the value of the PDF. But here we can get more approximate for the Erlang as n gets more larger. So n ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಂಗೆ, so here the whatever the PDF curve you are going to see, so that will be more approximate with respect to the Gaussian PDF. So you can take this example and you can explain along with the central limit theorem. So central limit theorem ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಒಂದು explain ಮಾಡಿ. So next, I'm going to take the last topic for today's class. So here we are going to take one more example. So for a uniform random variable which is distributed between 0 and 1, so the PDF, as we know, it is defined by fx of x is equal to 1. So for x between 0 to 1, and it takes the value 0 for other values of x. And the corresponding mean and the variance for fx of x is mu x is equal to 1 by 2 and sigma x square is equal to 1 by 12. So these values we have derived in the module 1 itself. So here whenever we'll be considering the sum of two independent realizations of x, so in that case we can write w2 is equal to x1 plus x2, that is the same symbol is going to be added, and the corresponding mean is n by 2, that is nothing but n is 2 here, so 2 by 2 is 1, and sigma w square is n by 12, that is nothing but 2 by 12, which is equal to n mu x and n mu x and n sigma x square. So here in that case you'll be getting the value as 1 and 1 by 6. So here I have shown the equations for mean and variance for the uniformly distributed variables. So here let us consider the diagram. So this shows the original PDF for the PDF fx of x. So for the PDF fx of x, so here the distribution is shown. So here it is distributed between 0 to 1 for the value of x, and it takes the value 1 between this range. And now with this we can also uh, consider the convolution of the same signal itself. So whenever fx of x is going to be convoluted with the same signal, so it is going to result in the new PDF, so which is defined by the equation. So fw2 of w2 is equal to w2 for w2 between 0 to 1, and for w2 between 1 to 2 it will take the value 2 minus w2, and for other values of w2 it will take the value 0. So here the corresponding calculation has been shown here, so with the convolution, so that we can go with. And once again we can consider the sum of three independent realizations of x, that is nothing but we will be convolving the fw2 of w2 with fx of x. So when you do that, so here it will be resulting in the equations like w3 is equal to w2 plus x3, and mu w3 will be 3 by 2, that is n mu x ಅಂತ ಬರೀತಿರಲ್ಲ, so here n is 3, so here 3 by 2, and sigma w3 square it is equal to n sigma x square, so here that is nothing but 3 by 12. So here the corresponding convolution, so it will be resulting in the equations w3 square by 2 minus of 2w3 square minus 6w3 plus 3 by 2, and w3 minus 1 whole square minus 4 into W3 minus 1 plus 4 all divided by 2, and it will take the value 0 for other than the values of W3 which are given here. So here when you go on doing such convolution, so here you can see that, so for the second convolution it will be resulting in somewhat like triangular PDF. So when the value of n is 3, so here you can see that it is going to be like a Gaussian PDF. So when you do such convolution for the larger value of n, so here it will be resulting in the Gaussian PDF. So similarly, if we consider the sum of 12 independent realization of x, so here in that case, w it can be written as summation I is equal to 1 to 12 xi, and mu w is 12 by 2 and sigma w square is 12 by 12. And according to the central limit theorem, as I told, so it will be resulting in the Gaussian PDF, where we can write the approximation as z is equal to summation xi minus 6. So this is one example where usually you will be getting for the test or the exam. So you just go with the derivation convolutions, and try to remember the equations as much as possible. And the next topic is average. So here when n gets larger, the mean and the variance they also gets large in direct proportion to the value of n. So here this will be leading to the examination of the process of averaging, where as we shall see that the mean and the variance remain bounded as n gets large. So here in that case, so we can introduce the variable y as the average of xi. So here in that case, we can write y is equal to, actually we'll be writing 1 by n summation I is equal to 1 to n xi, so which can be rewritten as y is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n xi by n. So in this equation, so here we are going to multiply each term in the sum by the factor 1 by n. So here in that case we'll be getting the equation like y is equal to summation xi by n with I is equal to 1 to n. So for that it will be this equation, it will be following that the expectation of xi by n, it is equal to expectation of x by n, so which is equal to, so expectation of x is nothing but a mu x, so mu x will be divided by n. So as n is a constant, you can take it outside the expectation operator. So similarly, the variance of xi by n, it will be resulting in sigma y square by n square, and which will be implying that mu y, it is equal to n into mu x by n. So n gets cancelled, which is equal to mu x. And similarly, sigma y square, which is written as n into sigma sigma x square by n square. So one n gets cancelled, so it will be resulting in the value sigma x square by n. So here whatever the equations that we have seen here, so this in this averaging we can identify some of the properties. That is here you can observe that the mean of y, it is same as that of the mean of x, and similarly the variance of y, it will be decreases by the factor n with respect to sigma x square. And also here according to the central limit theorem, so always whenever you'll be adding the sum of the IID random variable, it will be resulting in the Gaussian PDF. So these key features, key points you need to remember. And on this only we have one problem that we'll see while doing the exercise problem. And the next topic is conditional joint probability. So this one will take up in the next class. Only we are going to list the conditional joint probability equations, and then we are going to look at the sum of the random variable like chi-square random variable, student random variable, and Rayleigh random variable, and the Cauchy random variable. So just equations we are going to see. In another one class, we'll be winding this module 2, and we'll take up the exercise problems. And on Monday, sorry, listening, on Monday afternoon, can you hear me? Monday afternoon, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Yes, ma'am.
Monday afternoon 2 to 4 lab session is there. So I think sir has put the new timetable, right? Sir has put the new timetable for you people, I think. If he has not put, Monday afternoon you will be having the lab session 2 to 4. So here you have to join at 2 o'clock, so that I will be explaining the software program, simulation programs nearly 5 to 6 programs I'll explain in that lab. And after the explanation, I'll just show how to execute those programs using the Keel software. So here you can install that Keel software, which is freely available. It is a free software, open source. So you can download the Keel software, and I'll be showing the step-by-step execution. And after the explanation of the program, you can go with that. So within this online classes itself, I'll try to complete all the lab session, that is software programs. And when you come for the offline, they will be concentrating only on the hardware part. So here everyone make sure to attend the lab session. So from Monday and Wednesday, you will have the lab session. So here you need to attend the lab session from 2 to 4. So exactly I'll not take from 2 to 4. 2 to 4 and the 2 to 4 area, 2 to 3, 1 half an hour, 45 minutes. I'll explain the program and I'll show how to execute the program in online. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ?
Yes, ma'am.
ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಹೇಳಿ. Anyone answer me?
Lab session will be there on Monday from
And
2 to 4,
Wednesday.
ma'am.
Yes. Monday 2 to 4 lab session. I'll be explaining the software programs. Attend the session on Monday. Okay, thank you. You can leave the meeting.